two or 3 minutes. Just tell us, Steve Mnuchin, he seems like one of the guys. I don't know. I mean, Betsy DeVos is clearly one of them. Pruitt is clearly one of them. There may be one or two others that the Democrats seem really focused on fighting, I guess, or voting against, or arguing in public. I mean, I don't know how to really even characterize that. Is Mnuchin one of those people?
I mean, it seems like it. It does seem like it, and it's weird that in an environment where Republicans can pass all of these nominees by themselves, why you would give them aid and comfort, I just don't understand it. But
in other words, why would you vote for any of them?
Right. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. But Mnuchin does seem like one of them. And what we found out, and I wrote in my story yesterday, is that after a confirmation hearing, senators get a chance to ask questions for the record. So they ask, in this case, Mnuchin, to send written answers to additional questions that they didn't get time to ask in the hearing. And Bob Casey asked this question: has One West Bank, which was Mnuchin's bank, engaged in robo-signing, which is the practice of rapidly signing foreclosure documents that say, I have reviewed and I have personal knowledge of all the information in this foreclosure file. And they would sign like 10,000 a week. There's no way for them to actually have any personal knowledge while signing that rapidly. And this was a big scandal. It led to, in 2010, most of the major mortgage servicing companies stopping foreclosures because they were submitting these false documents. And Mnuchin responded to Casey's question about whether One West had ever engaged in robo-signing, but said, nope, we've never done it. We have not engaged in robo-signing, and I'm proud of my bank's record. And that's just a lie. I mean, we have copious amounts of evidence showing that One West engaged in robo-signing, including a One West employee admitting to it in a deposition where she admitted that her team of 8 people signed 6,000 foreclosure affidavits a week, and she admitted that she never read any of them before signing that she had personal knowledge of the foreclosure case file. So this is the textbook definition of robo-signing, and she admitted to it as a One West employee in July of 2009. So for Mnuchin to say that, and there's more evidence, and it's in the story, but that's the biggest piece. For Mnuchin to say that One West never engaged in robo-signing is just patently false.
And that's the type of thing that makes a nominee, at least in most normal circumstances, right, radioactive.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't tell a blatant lie about engaging in fraud to the Senate. Theoretically,
I would say lying. I would say lying to the Senate is around the top of the list in terms of establishing a lack of credibility. So we'll see if that matters to any of these Republicans who are charged with voting on this nominee.
Nah, we're not going to get too caught up in that. David Dayen, one last question. Why robo-signing? Yeah. Why don't they call it false validation? False testimony, false.
It's really robo-perjury. I mean, that's what it is.
Right.
It's mass perjury. Interestingly, robo-signing was a name that came out. It was devised by a foreclosure defense lawyer who was just saying that, look, Jesus, they're like robots with the way that they're signing. And then that became the statement. And a lot of people sort of in this whole foreclosure defense community didn't like the name because it does, as you say, sort of take the edge off of what this really is, which is false evidence submitted to courts. But the name stuck, so, I'm using it.
All right. Well, I'm using false validation. That's the one I'm going to use.
Okay.
Or perjury, signing perjurers. I'm going to come up with something. Robo-perjury. I think the robo just makes it too nice. All right, David Dayen, always a pleasure. Thanks so much. People can check out your pieces in The Intercept and The Nation magazine, and, of course, in just about every publication that exists. Hey, it's Sam Seder. Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can do so right over here. Over. Subscribe.